Hello again, and welcome back to Illegally Cited. This is Jesse, and I am back for another quick channel update video. And I also wanted to give a few thoughts on today's Nintendo Direct because the last week and a half, we've had all these other Summer of Gaming events, kind of our non-E3 stuff. We heard from Sony a couple weeks ago. We heard from Microsoft. They had a pretty killer showing. We had all these other showcases, the accessibility showcase. We had there's like indie showcases and PC gaming and all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, a lot of game announcements and again, for what people were really thinking was going to be a kind of a slow year compared to what we had last year. And then Sony coming out right away and saying, yeah, we're not having any major releases in the next year, and Xbox's troubles, and we thought it was going to be a pretty bleak year, but damn, man, I think we actually have a pretty solid second half of the year. I have no idea how I'm going to find time to play all of this stuff, buy and play all of the stuff that I want to between indie games, a few AAA releases. We got some PC stuff, a couple Sony things, Nintendo here today. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to be looking forward to this year. Before we get into the Nintendo stuff, though, I'm trying to think if I actually did a channel update. I know we have done a lot of bonus videos this month just because of all the gaming announcements, WWDC, and whatnot. I think this should probably be our last major one. Nintendo was the last of, I think, all of the companies that we're probably going to have a major showing. So, but if this is a channel update video, because I want to talk about a couple things for the channel. And as I usually start these off, welcome to anyone who is new to the channel. I know we've gotten a fair few subscribers. I know a couple people I know personally who found the channel. And then, like I said, I see that we've gotten over 4,000 subscribers now, which is cool. We're just a little bit over that, so it keeps growing. That's pretty great. I unlock videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday these days. Those are my regular unlock slash upload days, Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. But again, for different major announcements, events, holidays, or just because. I may do some bonus videos from time to time. Like I said, there's been so many announcements in the last couple of weeks that was really the only way to do it. Um, so you will find a lot of bonus videos as of late, and this is going to be a bonus video one too because I think I want to have something just regularly scheduled for Wednesday. This will just be a quicker, um, Nintendo video and such. But yeah, Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, everything is divided into playlists. So I have everything from the events and updates like we have had the last couple of weeks, events and updates. I have a new playlist for accessible AI because I've been doing a lot of coverage of artificial intelligence apps and such. I got my hardware review for my Meta Ray-Ban glasses if you haven't checked that out yet. I did a review on those. We got another AI app that I covered the other day, and that one was called PickyBot, or PixieBot, as VoiceOver likes to say. And it has some unique qualities to it, unique features and stuff, so go check that video out. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of kind of AI description apps, AI accessibility apps designed for the blind and visually impaired specifically. That's what I'm following. And I think it's only going to get better. Like I said, once some of these apps are able to start implementing live modes where I can just turn on the camera, turn on the microphone, and it can monitor things in real time, and we can converse with the AIs in real time, that's going to be huge. There's going to be so many use cases, both just, starting to use on the phone, starting to use on wearables like the Meta Ray-Ban. So I really hope APIs come to that. And even on the PC, I showed you just taking a picture using the Be My Eyes app on Windows. There we go. Get it right. um, but showed how I could take a screenshot of a game, and it was very descriptive. I was in a first-person shooter, and it was telling me kind of my status, what kind of room I was in, what kind of weapon I had equipped. So it was recognizing those aspects, and if you have that monitoring in real time, boy, uh, this year is only going to get more interesting. The next year or two is just going to get super interesting. Speaking of podcasts, I'm not sure exactly when it's going to come out, but I was just on another podcast. Um, we recorded the episode yesterday as I'm recording this, so it was me and a couple of other people that you may have heard of in the blind low vision community, and they were really cool to chat with, and we talked about some low vision things that we'd like to see, whether it's Windows, um, Mac, iOS, Android. But that was kind of the overall topic of hey, all this low vision technology. I believe it's called Next Gen Access. And again, follow me on Twitter at BGFH79. I will definitely post, excuse me, hiccups. I will definitely post the link to the podcast episode when it comes out, but probably later this week, maybe next week at the latest. So that's coming. That was fun. Thank you for inviting me to be a part of that podcast, and would gladly do it again. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, we've got, just looking at my recent videos here, we've got Fallen Aces Early Access. That just came out. After I recorded the video, I did finish the game this weekend. At least the first episode that is out in early access, and that was a really just great game. I did have a couple of struggle points. There was a sniper part where in the docks there were some snipers that were kind of being a pain in the ass. In the level that I had in the video, the end of that one sort of had like you had to defend this guy that was in this garage. That was a little bit frustrating, especially with the limited resources that I ended up having. But I did get through it. So there were 2 or 3 parts where I kind of got stuck, but it was still a really fun game. Your AI stuff here, as I was talking about. Oh, I really want this text only game, or this Crypt Master. It's not blind accessible yet, but I reached out to the developer and I really want it to become more accessible to blind players, because I think given a few things it could. The presentation on it is fantastic. I love the kind of your dungeon master narrator thing. You're using words as a weapon essentially. Sticks and stones can break my bones, but words will definitely hurt you in this case. It's just a really neat, really, really unique idea that I've never seen in a game, and so I would love for this to become blind playable. Reach out to the developer and also encourage him, because again, I go through in the video, a lot of the gameplay mechanics are very straightforward and would work well for blind players in general. We just need some narration and a few other things that would really make it help. So that's what's going on the channel. There was a Steam Next Fest, and there were loads and loads and loads of demos. I tried probably a half a dozen, maybe recorded 3 or 4 demo videos, so those have to come out sometime soon. So, oh God, I don't know when those are going to come out. Of course, we always have new games being released, so who knows about that. We have the summer conventions coming up next month, so who knows, maybe we're going to get some of these AI updates in some of these apps, and we'll find something crazy going on with that. I don't know, but yeah, so there's a lot to look forward to on the channel. With Apple's recent AI announcements, it's kind of like, well, I'm probably foreseeing myself upgrading from my 13 Pro Max to an iPhone 16, probably Pro Max, because, I have to, this fall, so I can take advantage of all the Siri and AI things that are coming out. So yeah, the channel is not going to be slowing down whatsoever. I've got a few PC accessible games I got in my queue that I got to get around to. I got a couple iOS games I got to look at, some accessible games, loads of mainstream games. I'm still working my way through Sulaco, which I'm really enjoying. I mean, we had Mullet Mad Jack, Sulaco, and now Fallen Aces. It's just been a great time for retro first-person shooter fans and really unique games. Um, we already had a Turtles game this year. We're getting another Turtles game, and that uh, Last Ronin looks sick, man. I want to see some actual gameplay footage of that. I know that's not going to be out for a while, but I'm really looking forward to that. Um, God, we're getting uh, a new Cobra Kai season in July. We're getting a new season of a new TMNT animated series based on the movie that came out last year. God, there's something else too. There was some other series or some other movie or something that was coming out. Well, we're getting Deadpool is coming out. Like, so that's another thing I'm looking forward to. So yeah, 2024. There's some horrible crap going on in the real world, but there's a lot of good stuff too. So that's kind of a life and channel update. Things are going well. Things are going really busy at work and with the channel and all this other stuff. So I'm keeping plenty busy. But on to the last part of this video. Just wanted to give a few thoughts on the Nintendo Direct. I'm not going to go through every announcement, but I'll jump in and talk about a few of my highlights. They started out with a new Mario and Luigi game, which, yeah, I'm kind of into. I didn't get to play the DS versions really because I just didn't have an accessible way to play them. The DS screen was too small, and you didn't have a magnifier, and even if I did, it would just been so clunky. A Nintendo Switch. I did work my way through most of the Mario RPG remake earlier this year. Got to a part where it was like this trials area, and I could do the combat stuff no problem. I could do the platforming stuff was weird because the whole isometric. It was just always terrible at that. The isometric stuff there, and then there was what was it like time? There were these timed quizzes or something. I forget. But I kind of hit a roadblock in that because there were elements of it that I just could not see fast enough to be able to play well. But we get a Mario and Luigi game, Mario and Luigi Brotherhood, and that's coming out, I think, in November, if I remember correctly. And that looks pretty solid. I might check into that. Um, the Nintendo World Championships game, that's coming out in July. And that's got some pretty cool speedrun stuff. It's a lot of your old school, what did they say, like 8 different NES games. You have the Mario ones. I think there's Zelda. There's, God, what else was there? There was Ice Climbers I saw in there. There were Excite Bike. And I don't remember. There's a few others. But, it's just kind of these speedrunning challenges and multiplayer online elimination things. I think I saw Mario 2 in there, so that was in there. But yeah, I mean, that could be a really kind of a fun little diversion that I will probably be bad at, but it'll be fun to try. We got a Donkey Kong Country Returns remake. This was on the 3DS, and or no, it was on the Wii, and then they did a 3DS version, and now they're bringing it to the Switch, and so it's going to have the 3DS levels in it because apparently they added levels to it. So, I mean, the Donkey Kong Country games were cool. I don't really like those as much as the Marios just because they have a weird kind of almost like a slippery feel to the controls. But they look really good. Again, that's a game where it would be really nice to have the ability to dim some of the backgrounds because you get so much of like parallax scrolling and other effects in the background that it can be hard to see either what's an enemy or a platform or whatever. But we're getting that, so that'll be all right. We're getting a new Mario Party, which I know a lot of people love those. I really never got into the Mario Party, again, just because I don't know, the mini games were okay, but some of them were harder to see, and you had so much chaos with 4 players going on. I know this one has like an online mode, and like would they say up to like 20 players or some nonsense. So that could be chaotic. Not really my jam, but it's cool that it's out there. The big surprise for me was we're getting a new 2D Legend of Zelda game this September. Not only are we getting one, we're getting one soon, literally like 2 months, like 2.5 months away. Echoes of Wisdom, and you actually play as Zelda in a Legend of Zelda game because this weird like fog is kind of going around the world or this weird thing and it's kind of capturing people out of the Hyrule dimension, and so Link got captured and he's missing, and so Zelda, you're using this, what do they call it, like Triwand or something like that, where you can replicate other and create other abilities. You can like summon creatures and objects, and it kind of almost gives like a, Link Between Worlds meets a little bit of like that kind of freedom with the recent 3D Zelda games, Breath of the Kingdom, and I can't even remember what the other one was. Like I said, I never really got into the last two big Zelda games. And that's really the one complaint that I have with Nintendo is the games are looking incredible, even still on the Switch with such aging hardware. But I really hope that I'm not saying that the main characters have to talk, but can we please leave the silent movie era? Can we please leave the mime area? It just looks weird having all these games that are like high quality and great visually and everything, but then you got I just see the characters like um, swaying back and forth and just wildly gesturing with their hands to text bubbles and grunts and moans and whatever. It's just sure. I mean that worked for several generations and whatever, but like we have the ability. If you don't want to make Mario talk a lot or Link talk a lot, or that's totally fine. But like NPCs can surely talk, not only for immersion but also for accessibility. People who just like I said, I reading a lot of text is tedious for me. And I remember hearing even another podcast, like these games are supposed to be really family friendly and good for people of all ages, kids, kids and stuff too. And I think it was Jeff Gersman. He was talking about his daughter starting to play something with Animal Crossing, but they just do their gibberish nonsense talk, and his daughter is just starting to learn to read, and God forbid if they actually had voice acting, it would kind of help her learn to read, and she would also be able to play more independently because she could hear and understand what the characters were saying. So there's a lot of reasons. I just, again, please stop with the mimes, all the Zelda games, especially like the 3D ones where it's like, they're just like grunting and swaying back and forth and doing whatever weird gestures they do over and over and over again. Um, we've passed that, I think. But yeah, we're getting a new Zelda game, a 2D Zelda game that I'm actually very interested in playing. Um, in September. Sweet. Speaking of Zelda, we're getting another Zelda game today. We're getting the GBA Link to the Past remake that had the Four Swords game in it, which I'm really glad they acknowledged because I'm hoping eventually I would love, I keep talking I want that Wind Waker HD remake. I want that brought from the Wii U onto the Switch or the Switch 2, whatever. Yes, I want that, but now that they've really acknowledged the Four Swords, bring us Four Swords Adventure. That's been locked on the GameCube, and you could play it with up to 4 players, but you could play it solo with these formations, and I played all the way through it back in the day. It was great. I loved Four Swords Adventures, and I would love to see it come back. I think that would be a perfect thing for Nintendo to resurrect. I think it'd be an easy, while we're waiting for the next big Zelda, yeah, put out a Four Swords Adventure. I mean, even if you did that at the beginning of the next console cycle, I'd be down for that. Um, and then we had Metroid. Oh wait, before we get to Metroid, we talked about I talked about the Zelda Link to the Past. These are Nintendo Switch online things. So we got for the Game Boy. So we're getting that. Um, and we are getting Metroid Zero Mission. My favorite Metroid game. Yes. It was a GBA game. It was one that was on the. It took the original NES Metroid, which I loved, and just made it for the Game Boy Advance. Added some extra bosses, upped the graphics, like the layouts were tweaked a little bit. Added a whole new section at the end that was very unique to the series. Still is. I think I played through that like on like easy, normal, and hard. I think I played through that game at least 4 or 5 times when it came out. I love that game a lot. So that is on the Switch today, as well as the Zelda Link to the Past. And then we get two N64 games, Turok Dinosaur Hunter and Perfect Dark. Now, Turok, sure, fine, whatever. If you want to play Turok, I highly recommend just go getting the Night Dive remaster. Because the thing about the N64 remakes on the Nintendo Switch Online service is that they, at least unless they've changed them since, like I remember trying GoldenEye and whatnot, those controls they did not think about how to redesign those for a Pro controller or the Joy-Cons. They're screwy as hell, and so unless they fixed them, that would not be the best way to play Turok. Now the Night Dive remaster, that is designed for dual analog sticks. It's remastered. It's done really really well. I've played and covered the PC version. But that would be the way to play Turok. If you want to play Perfect Dark, again, not sure if they fixed the controls to play better. I love Perfect Dark, don't get me wrong. But I would either recommend, if they haven't fixed the controls, I would definitely recommend an N64 controller for the Switch. Or if you have an Xbox, you could get the Rare Replay collection. I think they even have an XBLA version of it separately. I don't know if that one is still available, but I know in the Rare Replay collection, which you can get digitally or physically, you can get the Perfect Dark, and that is remastered very well. Like it's fixed the frame rate, it's dual analog stick. Yeah, the Perfect Dark remake on the Xbox consoles is actually quite good. I'm pretty sure I covered. Yeah, I know I did. I know I covered that on the channel at some point. So that's a Xbox Spotlight video. But but yeah, I mean a Zelda, a Metroid, Turok, and Perfect Dark. There's some bangers in there. That was some good Switch Online stuff. Now I have never really been into the games because I was terrible at them. And I'm not as much into the tag team style, which a lot of these games were, but Capcom is doing a basically Marvel versus Capcom fighting game collection. They already did the beat 'em up brawler, they did the Street Fighter collection, they've done a lot of other of these things. But sometime this year we're supposed to be getting a Marvel versus Capcom collection, which has like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and a bunch of other fighting games. And honestly, the one that I'm most interested in is the arcade beat 'em up for the Punisher because it's the Marvel. So they're bringing out um, the Double Dragon-esque Punisher game that was in the arcades, and it's going to have online play. So you can do the online play for the fighting games or for the brawler. Yeah, I'll probably end up picking it up if nothing else, just for the Punisher and trying to play the I know a lot of people love the Marvel versus Capcom and those games, but they were so flashy. Like everything was just like these like, just explosive effects, and it looked really cool, but it was almost really distracting. But I just never got into the whole tag team thing. I like to choose one fighter and kind of go. But yeah, so that collection is coming out. That made a lot of people happy. And then we got a lot of Japanese RPG announcements. I can't even remember them all because some of them are weirdly named. But there's a Ace Attorney collection. There's what was it? Um, Dragon Quest 2 remaster, like a all new remake kind of a game. There's a couple of those Dragon Quest games coming out. There's some school game from the Danganronpa people, some kind of a tactics style kind of game. Like I said, I'm not really into these, so like they looked interesting, but I'm just not really, and I know they're probably not going to have blind accessibility or screen narration built in, so I just kind of went, nah, whatever. But I may say, if you're into RPGs, Nintendo's got you covered. They've always, for the last several years, like there are dozens and dozens of more traditional turn-based RPGs on the Switch. So if that's what you want, there's loads of them out there. Um, there is this Hello Kitty Island Adventure thing, which is kind of like an Animal Crossing type of. I don't know what's all going on in that game, but I guess it's on mobile already, and it's coming to Switch next year. Luigi's Mansion is coming out later this year or later this month actually. Luigi's Mansion 2. Um, that could be cool. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you would kind of think it would be just like, okay, we're gonna release a bunch of remakes. We're gonna just get through the end of the system's lifespan because we all know the Switch 2, whatever they're gonna call it, is out next year. But you know what? They did not send the Switch out with a whimper. The Switch started with a bang. We had freaking Mario Odyssey. We had the Zelda game, Breath of the Wild. That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild. But we started out with the Zelda game. We had Mario Odyssey, which was fantastic. Um, and now they're ending the Switch. Like I said, look at we got a Mario and Luigi game. We got a Donkey Kong game. We got a new 2D Zelda. We get Mario. We get a Luigi's Mansion. We get Mario Party. We get all these games that come to Virtual Console. We get some RPGs. And then we have Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. They actually gave it a subtitle, Beyond, and they showed some gameplay for it. Now, I'm a little suspect that this might be on the original Switch, or if it does come out on the original Switch, I don't know what the performance is going to be. I'm guessing they probably took a lot of inspiration from the original Metroid Prime remake that was that earlier this year or was that last year? That might have been this year. Good lord. Um, but I have to almost imagine this could be a cross-gen title. I could see them doing either a version for the new Switch and then an older gen for this one because they promised it so many years ago. But I could also see them going, okay, we're gonna make it for this one, and then we'll do like a HD upgrade, or we'll do or some sort of a better on Switch 2 or whatever. I could see that going that route too, but it would not surprise me at all to learn that this was a cross-gen title, and we don't even know what the backwards compatibility is going to be. Maybe it'll just be you can play all these games, and maybe they'll just run better on the Switch too. If they can take advantage of more RAM and video memory and stuff kind of like how Xbox did with their backwards compatible games, where it's like, oh yeah, they'll just run better now because they can. I'm trying to think. There was probably Stray. They had Stray there. I covered that on the channel, the PC version, or yeah, I think it was a PC version. Um, Little kitty cat game. Um, this weird little kind of dystopian game where you walk around as a cat. Pretty cool. And I know I'm missing a few titles, but like I said, there was a lot of JRPGs. Couple DLCs for games that were out already. Oh, Lego Horizon. They they talked about that during the Summer Game Fest thing, but again, especially since Horizon is new to Nintendo systems, this is, I can see them wanting to put out the trailer or put out an announcement for the Switch version because, Horizon is not just Sony anymore, apparently. But, yeah, that's most of the show. I think it was a pretty damn solid showing. Like I said, a couple new Mario games, Zelda, Metroid, some classic Switch Online stuff. Definitely gonna have to play me some Metroid Zero Mission later today. Yeah. Not a bad way for the system to go out. We might have a couple indie directs or something later this year. I would hope that we'll hear something at least about the new Switch before the end of the year, maybe, or I don't know. But yeah, I think if this is the final big hurrah Nintendo Direct for the original Switch, not bad, not bad. I think they did a good job with this one. I would love to see a news. We had the. I'd love to see another Zelda collection with like Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, maybe the Ocarina of Time remake that they did on the. I think they released it on the DS originally, so that could be a nice little update. But having, maybe even putting the Four Swords Adventure in that collection, you could have 3, 4, 5 Zelda games. Because we've got a lot of, we got the Switch Online, we've got Zelda 1 and 2, we've got A Link to the Past, now we've got the remastered Link to the Past. We got a lot of the older ones covered. We do have a couple of other remakes. We have the Skyward Sword is already out there. So if we could just get a collection with those other ones in there that I just mentioned, that would be a really great thing to have, especially if they would be backwards compatible with the next system to pull all that stuff forward so we don't have to buy everything again for the 20th time. But there you go, guys. That is a channel update and my thoughts on the Nintendo Direct. Not too bad a showing. I'm hoping when we do learn about the new system, I'm hoping that we maybe get some accessibility. God, I hope Nintendo doesn't. If Nintendo doesn't do it for their next system, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be a bit upset about that because come on, everybody's doing it. You have this whole Japanese accessibility group thing that was announced a month or two ago now. So come on, Nintendo, join the 21st century here. Let's get this accessibility stuff going. But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up here. This will be a quick bonus video to come out today. And then I think we're hopefully going to be able to slow down and return to our regularly scheduled Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday programming. So hope you guys enjoyed all the recent new video content and, doing my best to try to cover all these events and releases and demos and all that stuff. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give it a like if you did. Follow me on Twitter at BGFH79. Twitch.tv/illegally-cited, illegally-cited.com, and right here on YouTube. Until next time, I will chat with everybody again later.